Hi, this is Anais. Welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for stopping by. And just a couple of quick reminders. I am an intuitive reader. I don't use tarot in the traditional way. My readings are not time specific. We appreciate that time is a fluid medium and that actually we make time. Time doesn't control us. It's a good thing to learn. And the readings are not gender specific, although my readings are absolutely focused on the dynamic of sacred union within the ascension journey. And some of you, that language may be twin flames. It's up to you how you identify where you are and what's going on in your relationship life. So with that being said, let's begin. I'm going to do an extended reading. So I wanted to just go into where the divine feminine and the divine masculine are as they're being channeled onto merging timelines as they're coming into physical union, those who will be coming into physical union in the next wave. And so we're going to be looking at the story that the divine masculine has kind of been living through for the last little bit of time, as well as what the divine feminine has been living through, and how they have been growing and evolving, and the kinds of conditioning they may be dropping as they're merging timelines, and just where the general merger situation is heading right now. So I've used a couple of decks, and the decks I use are all listed below in the description, and I will be doing an extended reading for this. Sometimes I feel called to do that, and sometimes I feel totally, I'm guided by Source and by Gaia to just let people have a longer reading, and it's a gift. It's a gift. And then there are other times when it's, there's some people who are going to want to dive deeper into this, and it could be a co-creation with all of us getting our needs met and experiencing the joy of giving, receiving, and sharing. Okay, with that being said, the overall energy right now of the union is flamingo spirit, and the message on this card is embrace the in-between. And this is critical for us to allow ourselves to relax into when we're finding ourselves in the flow of timelines merging. And this is a very distinct feeling in your life. You have a feeling that something is on its way to you. You're not sure what it is. You may have the experience that your telepathic interactions, your energetic interactions, and your telepathic communication with your sacred union counterpart are heightened during a timeline merge, because you have to be able to find each other as you're moving through literally a next series of gates of consciousness and emotion and mental clarity, as well as your physical changes. So I would say that embracing the in-between for the next few days includes embracing how your physical body feels like it's changing. You may be in a great deal of discomfort right now, and if you are, know that both you and your sacred union counterpart are feeling this discomfort together. There is no separation within you at this point. And the reason this is happening is so that both partners in the union can feel what they're bringing to the union at any given time and what they're asking their divine counterpart to assist them with in terms of evolution for one or both. Now, when you're an empath and you're in this situation and you're plugged into the morphogenetic field as well, this discomfort can become quite intense. I don't consider it to be purging, because I am finding these days I'm more in an energy of transmuting anything that arises that wants to try to create separation in my union and or in myself or in my divine counterpart. I'm aligned with the intention of transmuting that information rather than trying to get rid of it or purge it out or deny it, or just be sort of in the place of, well, that's their stuff, not mine. Because that kind of an attitude or perspective is not conducive to coming into union. And I think it's a place we have to navigate very carefully and very consciously. So I think that the flamingo spirit is asking us to embrace the in-between in just this way. Feel, perceive, discern, know. Ask who you are in this relationship. Ask what you're bringing to this relationship. And ask for the open and loving heart that has reached unconditional love for yourself, so that you're able to extend that unconditional love in the energy dynamic with your sacred union counterpart. They feel this. When they're involved in a wave of pain because they're releasing conditioning or they're releasing memories from this lifetime or other timelines, the pain is very, very real. And one of the beautiful balances within sacred union is feeling when that's happening and just getting quiet and holding the energy of unconditional love deep within your own heart, in your own energy field, and then allowing that gently to expand and extend toward your sacred union partner. They will feel it right away, and you will feel the pain lessening almost immediately. So I call this sharing the internal energetic hug. It is very, very comforting to give or receive this in this dynamic of sacred union and ascension. So that being said, we're being we're being asked to embrace the in-between. And now I'm going to focus on what I feel is the divine masculine energy here in terms of the bee spirit. Sweet results await. And this, for me, in this instance, is beautiful worker bee. Although in the world of bees, the worker bee is a feminine energy. In this dynamic, the energy of the divine masculine is taking on a characteristic of the feminine worker bee, who is willing to feel everything that is true about who she is or about what her experience has been, and not shying away from the vulnerability of that information. And hopefully at this point in the journey, when you're heading for sacred union, and you can feel when this is beginning to manifest, vulnerability is your ally in union. Vulnerability is an indication of your being in a deeper state of self-acceptance and self-love for who you are, who you have been, and who you are becoming. And knowing that the choice is yours. Every phase of growth and evolution, you get to make the choice. Whether you're going to continue, whether you're going to stop, whether you're going to rest for a while, whether you're going to look more deeply into your own situation so that you can share more deeply in the vulnerability and humility that is this meeting the beloved in both your counterpart and in your, honestly, the energetic meeting that you will have with Source. So in that sense, the divine masculine has become the worker bee who is traveling throughout his entire energy field system and all of his timelines, and he is gathering up the nectar of his experiences in total and bringing them into the sort of the beautiful safe hive that is union with his beloved, and that together the two of them are going to transform that nectar into honey that will never spoil. So this is the energy that the divine masculine is in right now. It's number 7. And he is busy learning how to do something that he may never have done before. And he may be busy experiencing feelings and sensations that he may not have ever felt before. So this is who you're giving your internal hug to, divine feminines, and this is who you're supporting. You may be back home in the beehive, or you may be out doing your own work, but you are holding a place in your consciousness and in your heart where you're holding this kind of, I'm with you, I know what you're going through, I can feel it. And yes, it's intense, and yes, I am with you, I am feeling it. And what I am going to do is hold the space of consciousness so we don't go into a codependent dynamic where you believe you can just simply pass this to me and then I'm going to process it for you. Because that isn't going to happen. Big learning, big learning for the divine masculine. Now, on the divine feminine side of the dynamic, we have dolphin spirit. This and that are true. And so this is opening into the third way. This and that, duality, are. It's a state of being. True. That's an acceptance of that there is more to reality than just this or just that. So this is the feminine energy really becoming just joyful and playful as she is moving out of binary code. She is freeing herself from the system of entropy that is the 3D construct. She is leaping into her 5D love and above energies. She's feeling strong. She's feeling vulnerable. She's feeling humbled by the experience, and she is feeling incredibly loving and generous and open. Okay. Now, the core of this reading, in terms of where the divine masculine and divine feminine are together, is the loyal heart. So while the divine masculine is going through all of his Akashic records, all of his alternate timelines to accomplish a successful merge and union, he is counting on the loyal heart of his beloved. And as the divine feminine is dancing and prancing and leaping in joy and feeling the tremendous possibility of exploration and new experience within the ascension journey, she is just as likewise counting on the loyal heart of the divine masculine, who, as a worker bee now, is touching everything. I've actually been a beekeeper, and what I learned about bees is remarkable, but bees touch everything in our world. They are so curious, and they are so intelligent and generous. And they're incredibly hard workers, and yes, we know they have a sting, and it is only the female worker bee that has a stinger. So the divine feminine is counting on the loyal heart of her divine masculine to do this work on his own and bring her the nectar of his vast experience, whether it is blissful or painful, to bring together so the two of them are turning it into the internal honey that fuels the sweetness of the union. So that's at the core. Loyal heart is at the core of this reading. Now I hope that you're not being overwhelmed by the drone of my air conditioner. We've had a couple of days where it's hit 100 or close to 100. It's very hot, and I'm just not going to turn my air conditioner off to do this reading for you. So I will just ask you to be patient with the sound of the air conditioner and listen. This is an opportunity for you to really focus on your good listening skills. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you what emerged as the story that the Divine Masculine is bringing in to the merging of timelines right now. So 6 cards came out for him, and I did decide to use the tarot for this, just for fun. And for comfort's sake, because people are looking here for all kinds of information, and to give a nod to the traditional tarot isn't going to put a dent in my fender in what I'm bringing to the table. So first we have Alpha Hierophant. This is a teacher. This is someone who has accumulated a lot of knowledge and is very, very grounded in their spirituality, and is in a place to share what they've learned as a teacher. So the Divine Masculine is showing up as really tapping into his spirituality and tapping into the highest and best of his spiritual vault that he has available to him. Next we have the 10 of Swords, which is a completion. So many of the Divine Masculines are right here on an energetic level, and maybe even on a physical level, emotional level, mental level. They've just been through it all. They've been through it all. They've been through every form of betrayal, of disappointment. Many of them, as they're sorting through their bits of sweetness that they have to bring to the union to be transformed, they are really fully coming out of denial about how much they have not loved themselves or loved the feminine energy in their life, be that mother, wife, sister, or daughter. It's causing them pain. And so because of this energy of recognition and being finally willing to face this situation and to look at the information squarely and soberly with eyes open and consciousness clear, they went into the hermit mode. And this may have involved a period of living alone or ending a relationship so that they could spend time discovering what is my purpose, and feeling into the union and feeling that there was an energy that was kind of leading them and pulling them along, and they're being very curious about that energy and wanting to know what is it, and understand the direct experiences that they're having, which for many of them are new. Not for everyone. For some of the Divine Masculines who are over 50 years of age, who've been through already so much, they're really seeking how they're going to integrate their past experience with the union energies that they are absolutely in, and they're aware they're in, and they really may just be finding out about this. So they don't by any means consider themselves experts. They're finding out like we're all finding out. Then as a result of that searching in hermit mode, the Divine Masculine did learn quite a bit about manifestation. And he's in a place where he understands that manifestation and co-creation are not the same. So here he is with all of his coins available to him and stacked up, and there they are. But does he have someone to share them with? Does he know what his purpose is and how he's going to bring his pentacles into the support of his sacred union, purpose, or mission? And here next we have the Ace of Cups, and in this realization he knows that he has his pentacles in order, but he's becoming aware that he has not experienced true depth of emotional fulfillment, no matter how successful he's been in the masculine conditioning of being the provider, if that's the role he's taken on, being the manifester, if that's the role he's taken on. And in these two cards, he is learning the difference between manifestation and co-creation. Co-creation always includes love. Co-creation always includes sharing and receiving and asking and being grateful for others in our lives. It is not a solo experience. Co-creation is life on the circle. And then he has, as a result of going through this journey on his own, with a supportive spirit, with a supportive Gaia, and really coming to understand so much more about who he is and who he is not, the Wheel of Fortune comes out, which means he is turning his co-creation energy on, and he is turning the wheel of karma off. Okay, and now that is indeed a steep learning curve, but he's doing it. And as this is happening, and he's going through this transformation, he recognizes that he has held his power center through the third chakra, through his mental body, through being powerful, perhaps aligning his power and his authority in ways that were not healthy, either for himself or for the feminine energy in his life. And so he, on this journey, has had to come to a place where he could come to a place of both vulnerability and humility at the same time. He does not give away his power of authenticity, because he knows he's going to need it. He's going to need this kind of focus and life force energy to bring to this turn of the wheel from manifestation to conscious co-creation. So that's been the mini journey that he's been on recently. And some of you who are cross watchers, either divine feminine or divine masculine, if you recognize yourself in this little story, then I'm really happy. All right, now going over to the divine feminine, she also has had a journey and a story, and it's been just as dynamic for her and just as much a trigger for her evolution. And she's still approaching this information, this newly information from the dolphin spirit, that she is coming out of duality with regard to these energies. Now, the first energy that was out for her was the Knight of Swords. And many of the divine feminines have been feeling the stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go energy of the Knight of Swords from the divine masculine, coming in, eager, coming in, ready to go, and then putting on the brakes because he had more internal work to do. And so that's been a little bit taxing for the divine feminine. And so while he was doing stop, come in, go out, come in, go out, come in, stop, go, here's my sword of truth, I'm coming in and I'm going to show you, who I am, and this is, all of that. She kind of said, well, okay, cool, that's cool. Let me know when you're done. So she's been the hangman in the upright position. We often see the hangman like this. She's like, you know what? I'm going to just be waiting for you over here. And when you figure that all out, we'll connect and we'll have a conversation about what you've come to understand. Next, we have the moon, which is often associated with the feminine characteristic of mystery and of the unknown, and the quality of light that shines in the darkness. So for me, while the divine masculine has been buzzing around with his sword of truth, figuring out who he is and what he really wants in his life, and does the divine feminine have anything to do with it at all? And he's electric here. This is the divine masculine in his full-on electric mode, out of balance and out of connection with the magnetic, the feminine. So she's been meditative and quiet and focusing on getting her emotions into balance and finding the answers within herself as intuition and direct experience through her connection with Gaia and with Source. That's how she's been moving forward. And doing that, she's been in the Seven of Wands energy, where she's taken the higher ground and she is ready to defend her sovereignty. She is here defending her sovereignty to come into her own realization of who she is as a sovereign being, a woman, a feminine energy, but also who she is going to be in the union. And I see that this as her defending off any attempts to recreate a codependent relationship with anybody. Like, this is the boundary. This is defending boundaries. I am not available for that anymore. And as a result of that, she was able to defend her boundaries and turn her back on this kind of energy and focus on her well-being, focus on her evolution, focus on being grounded and staying grounded within her union connection. So she's been focused on that for quite a while. And then last out, because of this journey, she has come into an understanding of the sacred union. She's come into direct experience of it. She's living it day to day. She's being informed in the choices that she's needing to make because she's developed her discernment through her grounded relationship and her connection to Gaia and to Source. So she is in a position of being open and ready and vulnerable and in a place of humble willingness to connect. And this is the journey that she's been on. So what came out for the divine feminine as a result of the journey that she's been on has been the Queen of Chalices. And this has helped her transform into the divine feminine energy that knows how to fill her cup of love on her own, knows how to fill it with interdependent relationships, knows how to fill it by going when she needs to be in connection with the divine, with Gaia and with Source. And she knows, because she's able to balance her own emotions, she's no longer leaking energy. So she is able to refill her cup, and she has a full cup that she can share. She's not going to give away her cup and let somebody else guzzle it down, but she is absolutely in a place where she is willing to share her cup of love. And that's why the divine masculine is feeling, oh, I may yet have this experience of emotional fulfillment in my life if I continue on this journey and I surrender to the timeline merges and surrender to the quality of energetic connection that I'm experiencing with my divine feminine counterpart. Okay, so that's it for the general reading, and if you'd like to continue on into the extended, I'm going to go a little bit deeper into the story that the divine masculine, the changes, the frequencies, the vibrational information, how he is moving through into these timeline merges from the level of his subconscious and unconscious. And I will also do that for the feminine, and we'll look at where these folks are at the end of this next motion flowing forward into the loyal heart timeline merger. And then I will have some advice, guidance cards for you as well. Okay, but if this is where you go and paddle forward, or fly forward to your next timeline merge. Thank you for stopping by and watching. Peace and blessings.